Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have You Heard? And today we are not playing music. I normally do. But I think this is only the second video that I'm doing where I'm just having a chat. Now, the first time was for the prog vinyl tag back at the beginning of the year, which was a whole lot of fun, where we talked about 10 great prog albums that complied with certain criteria. But today is a little bit different because I've been thinking a lot about myself, about my channel, and about the people who listen and view my channel. And what's music doing for us at the moment? What is the music world doing for people over the age of 65? The analytics of my channel tell me that 72% of my viewers are over the age of 65, and another 25% are between 55 and 65. So um, that's the top end of the range. Dear. So I'm 72. I'm bang in the middle of the over 65s. So there's quite a few younger than me. There's quite a few older than me, I'm sure. I've just been thinking about the music business at the moment and how is it catering for people of our age? I've been thinking there's five questions really. How do we, as over 65s, listen to music at the moment? What do we listen to? Why do we listen to the music we listen to in the way that we do? Where do we listen to it? And who is catering to our tastes? Right. Well, we'll go through those questions. I'll give you some of my personal answers, but then I'm hoping that maybe some of you will respond and let me know the answers to your particular questions. Now, I'm not a music polymath like Rick Beato. I'm not a charismatic musician like Justin Hawkins. I'm not a charismatic YouTuber like Andy Edwards or zany like Scott in the Prog Corner. I am me. But I've had my channel, Have You Heard, for about 7 or 8 months now. We've got 585 subscribers. I love every one of them. Uh, but it's tough going in today's age, trying to establish a YouTube channel. And I want to know a little bit more about my customers. So I'll share a little bit about me, and hopefully, some of you will share a little bit about yourselves. Okay, so how do we listen to music? Well, I listen to my physical collection. I've got quite a few vinyl albums. I've sold a few over the years, but I've still kept quite a few. So I've got a reasonably good vinyl collection. And over the years, I've bought lots of CDs. CDs are the more cheaper option these days if you want to buy physical music. So I tend to buy more CDs than I do vinyl. I would prefer it to be the other way, but economics says no. So I listen to my physical collection and I listen to that a lot. And the bulk of it, of course, is from the 70s, 80s, 90s. Those 3 decades are probably the ones that I listen to the most. Do I listen to the radio? Here in the UK, almost never. There are, I believe, a couple of halfway decent music channels, um, but really, I very rarely listen to the radio at all. In the States and other parts of the world, it might be better, it might be different, but I don't at all. Streaming, well, I have a Spotify account. I did that so that I could use Spotify to call up music for the channel when I'm listening to it. It's very easy, it's very convenient. Do I listen to streaming otherwise? Well, sometimes, but mainly it's all the stuff that I have in my physical collection. I throw it all onto Spotify, and I've got various playlists, and I listen to that from time to time. Maybe when I'm in the kitchen cooking my evening meal, um, but that's about it. The television, no, unless I'm watching YouTube. And I tend to watch a lot of music stuff on YouTube. um, we'll talk about that in a minute. Live gigs, that's kind of like the last option I can find in how I consume music. And live gigs it's getting more and more rare because the cost of tickets are getting higher and higher. There are a few bands that I will always go and watch. Elbow is one, Simple Minds is another. I've I've been bold and brave, and I've bought a ticket for Rush in Manchester next year because I know that'll be the last time I'll ever see Rush. I've got to see Geddy and Alex play again, so that's just a life wish more than anything else. Um, but yeah, the tickets are very expensive, and there are no pubs in my area that do live music. I don't know where to go. Live gigs I've seen over the last year. I've seen Steve Hackett in Manchester. I've seen Rick Wakeman in Manchester. I've seen the Musical Box in Manchester. Uh, that's about it. So that's how I listen to my music. What do I listen to? Well, of course, I listen to my collection, and my collection is a little bit of 60s, Beatles, of course, 70s, 80s, 90s, heavy, some 2000s, some 2010s, very little anything after that. Um, I started listening to the radio when I was about 6 or 7, so around about 1960. So when the Beatles hit in 62, I was a prime candidate, 9 years old, and Love Me Do, wow, it changed my life. And so from the 60s, from 1962 onwards, it was all about rock and roll. It was all about very much British music. I was a little bit young for Elvis and Buddy Holly and those guys. Of course, I heard it after the time, and enjoyed it. But the 60s was all about the Beatles, and then everything that sort of revolved around the Beatles. And then the Moody Blues in 68 with In Search of the Lost Chord, King Crimson in 69 with The Court of the Crimson King, and Prog, and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and everything just exploded from there. It all coincided with me leaving school in 1970 and getting a job, so I had a little bit of disposable income. So, what did I spend it on? Records. So, that's what I listen to. I listen to my record and CD collection. Um, I listen to my favourite genres, which are rock, progressive rock, a little bit of heavy metal, hard rock, folk, jazz fusion, a little bit, singer songwriters, yes, Joni Mitchell, very much yes, Kate Bush, very much yes. Um, into the 80s, synth pop, new wave, synth rock. I loved the 80s. I thought the 80s decade was brilliant for music. I wish I could play it more on my channel, but I don't seem to get that much of a response. I get lots of good response to Yes and Moody Blues, and perhaps Rush to a limited degree. Jethro Tull, probably more so. My most popular video is a Jethro Tull video, One White Duck on the Wall. Um, so, yeah, those are my favourite genres. Into the 90s, I liked indie, certain indie bands. Uh, and then into the 2000s, I discovered Elbow, which to me is the greatest British band of the 21st century. I go and watch them everywhere I can. I've got all their albums. I got into the Dave Matthews Band through my time living in South Africa and his connection being born in Johannesburg, and the fact that I had a CD store in Cape Town for 2 years. I ran my own music business. It was my dream all through my life, but I did it too late. 2001 was the death knell was ringing for the CD. Streaming was coming in. The all the illegal downloading was happening. Napster and all of that controversy. And I opened my CD store in a tourist shopping centre in Cape Town. And 2 weeks after I opened my store, 9/11 happened. And of course, plane travel and tourism took a hit for a few months, which didn't help me. But I'd opened the store too late. So after a couple of years, I had to close it down, but I had a ball. It was the greatest 2 years of my life. Um, Likewise, I think with the YouTube channel, I've done it too late. If I'd done it through during lockdown, I might have ridden the wave of everybody wanting to hear what everybody has to say about music. It's a little bit harder these days, I think. Of course, my channel isn't a reaction channel, it's listening to music I already love. But I think that's really a market that is slowing down, put it that way. Right, so those are my favorite genres. Do I listen to new music? Do I listen to new genres? Well, I sort of tiptoe in and out of music that's new, that just sort of tweaks my fancy, if you like. Uh, Certainly, bands of the last 10 years, I can only think of a few that I really enjoy. Bands like uh, new bands, um, The War on Drugs, LCD Sound System. Those are quite different. I enjoy them. I found out about them in various ways, which we'll talk about just in a minute or so. Uh, but really, it's slowed down. My new music intake has slowed down quite a lot. If I hear a recommendation, I shall listen to it. I haven't got closed ears to that. But I wonder how many people of my age are like that. It's interesting to find out. Uh, Another thing is discovering music is tribute bands. Now, there's a phenomenon that seems to be on the rise. How many of us go and watch tribute bands? I mentioned the Musical Box earlier on as a gig I've been to. Um, I've been to a couple of other tribute bands that have not been particularly good. I'm very worried about them most of the time. But if I go to the Musical Box, I read the reviews, so I know how good they are. Okay, so that's what I listen to. Why do I listen to that music? Well, I'm 72. I'm resistant to change. Are you resistant to change? I'm also very technophobic. It scares the living daylights out of me trying to use technology. Eventually, I work it out, but oh dear, it's a bit of a struggle, and I worry myself about it. So that's an issue. Uh, I also find that music is just the greatest memory provider, memory holder. So my whole life, from the age of 9, when the Beatles released Love Me Do, my whole life has been linked to music. I don't play an instrument. I cannot sing particularly well. I certainly can't read music, but I have an ear for music and I know what sounds good, and I can hear when a note is wrong, um, and I know what I like. And I guess there's lots of people who are like that. Uh, am I'm disappointed I never learnt an instrument. I don't think I'm particularly practical enough to be able to have done it anyway. But I love listening to music. So why have I not done that? Well, as I say, I don't think I'm particularly good, but I just love listening to music. And memories of my memories throughout my whole life are forged by the music that I've heard. So I listen to my collection because they take me back to those good times. And generally, you remember the good times as opposed to the bad times. Are there any other options open to me? Um, I don't know. No one's telling me. I haven't found out. So that's why I listen to what I listen to. I listen to what's familiar. Where do I listen to it? I listen at home, of course. I listen in the living room, sometimes in my bedroom, on headphones, certainly in the car. I love driving because I can play. I've still got a CD player in my car, so I play CD. So I have a 48 CD holder, and that kept replenished every once in a while. So I'm always playing CDs in my car. Um, of course, there's Bluetooth, so I do sometimes play Spotify through my phone in the car. Um, People have cassettes, I believe. I believe the cassette market is increasing. I do not have cassettes. I never really liked them. I had to I had to use them back in the 70s and the 80s because the old ramshackle cars I used to drive in only had cassette players. So I'd tape from my collection and have mixtapes all the time. I never bought cassettes of albums apart from a handful. And the ones I did have, I would play until they just snapped or got stretched. Um, Joni Mitchell, The Hissing of Summer Lawns, and Court and Sparks springs to mind. And Def Leppard's Greatest Hits, Vault. I had that on cassette as well for a while. But generally, it was all mixtapes. Um, Out and about, occasionally, I have some cheap earpods, the Bluetooth earpods, again linked to my phone and to Spotify. Gigs hardly ever, pub gigs never. Uh, where do you listen to your music? I also, of course, listen to it at home, on the television, on YouTube. And again, we'll get back to YouTube in just a second. So, who? Who is catering for us over 65s? I've been told by ChatGPT that I can't say senior citizens anymore. We have to be very careful these days. So, over 65s, who is catering for us? Well, I think YouTube are. Well, more by luck than by any kind of design. But who do I watch on YouTube? I watch Rick Beato and the interviews he does with all the rock stars of our heritage, the producers. They're amazing. They're brilliant, and I sit there with tears in my eyes and my mouth wide open and a warm feeling because it's so lovely to hear them talk about the days and the music that we all loved and the music that we bought. I mean, he talks about microphones and RG41s and Neumann D59s and I don't know. And I haven't a clue what he's talking about. All of that straight over my head. But to hear and watch Alex Lifeson play the Lifeson chord, oh, it just brought tears to my eyes to watch Geddy Lee swoop up and down his bass guitar. Wonderful. To hear Terry Brown talk about how he recorded moving pictures. I mean, this has all happened in the last week. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. And Rick has also interviewed David Gilmour, Justin Hayward, Rick Wakeman, um, countless others. Dominic Miller, revisiting the Beatles songbook and redesigning Beatles songs for acoustic guitar. That was absolutely stunning. Um, he he's providing so much entertainment for me, and I am so thankful. Uh, who else on YouTube? Well, the reaction channels, of course. I started watching them during lockdown. Now, the 80-20 principle works on numerous levels, I think, with reaction channels. 80% of reaction channels I cannot watch. No disrespect to them, but I don't relate to the people. I don't like the way they talk. I get irritated by the comments that they make. So that leaves 20% straight away. And then that 20%, you can probably do another 80-20 as well. And the 20% of that 20% are probably reaction channels that I will go back to because I respect the people who listen, because they do listen and they consider what they say. And that to me is the most important thing. They don't have to love everything I love, they just need to be considerate and respectful and say honestly what they think. And that's good enough for me. Um, there are lots and lots of people doing just what I'm doing at the moment, sitting in front of a camera and talking about music. It's never as nice as playing it, but I understand the limitations and the restrictions, of course, because I go through that myself. Uh, so, chatting. Some people approach it in different ways to other people. Some people are better at what they do than other people. I have a few favourites. Um, I prefer to listen than to hear, unless it's an interview with a legend, such as Rick's interviews. But there's a lot of fun and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had with a few of the music channels who chat. I have to say that Andy Edwards is very funny. Sometimes he goes on a bit too long. Sorry, Andy, but you know that. um, but it's always interesting to hear what you have to say. And there are a few other people in Andy's orbit that I'm listening to a little bit. It's not every day, but I listen to them a little bit. Um, there are, of course, the technical channels. Um, I can't play an instrument, so how to play YYZ on guitar doesn't really do anything for me. Um, the Drumeo videos are interesting up to a point, but again, I'm no drummer, but it's nice to see a drummer try to play to a song he's never heard before. And then finally, there's the live clips. And of course, there's loads and loads of live performances on YouTube. Again, 80% of them, the sound is abysmal. The quality of the video recording is abysmal, so you can wipe that off straight away. I'm not a huge music video fan, so again, I must say on music reaction channels, people wanting to listen to the music but watching the video kind of annoys me because I think you should be listening to the music, not being diverted and distracted by the music video, which is already an arcane kind of form of entertainment. The music will live far longer than the video will. I'd prefer them to concentrate on listening to the music and providing feedback. But again, that's just me. Um, yeah, live performances. There's some brilliant stuff. Um, if only I had the time to investigate so much. Uh, who else is catering for us? Streamers? I guess so. You can find any Moody Blues song or any Yes song or any Genesis song. I've a band I have discovered in the last 3 or 4 years through the reaction channels is Tool. Now, I sold the product back in my CD store in 2001. Lateralis was released in 2001. And I was too scared to even play it. I thought it was so heavy and so dense. So I didn't give it a chance. 20 years later, longer, um, Tool has blown my mind. And I actually went to see them 2 years ago in Manchester. I just bought one album and I took the plunge and went to, I think I got the last seat in the auditorium. And it was fantastic. I am a huge Tool fan. Um, streamers, though, no. And I mean, the vast amount of pop music that is top of the Spotify charts or whatever, I really can take it or leave it. Radio and TV, basic radio and TV, no, it's not catering to me. Social media, apart from little quick Instagram things that uh, really just get in the way of my life. So, no. Live music isn't really catering to me so much now because the cost of the tickets are so high. Lots of the bands, the members of the bands that I loved, are no longer with us. It's really sad, but that's going to just get worse and worse and worse. There are no local gigs, tickets are expensive, tribute bands are hit and miss, which leaves us finally with buying new product. Not necessarily new music, but new product of the music that I like. And that is becoming more and more difficult too. I'm a pensioner with a modest pension, and a new vinyl album now is 25 to £35. It's ludicrous. Even a CD is £10. Most of the CDs I buy are second hand now or pre-used. Uh, there are no new music stores, or very, very few, and most of them sell all kinds of other stuff and not music because they need to generate. I know, I've run my own business, they need to generate turnover. And they can't just rely on vinyl and CDs. So you've got well, not even DVDs, of course, because that's all gone as well. So you've got merch and you've got posters and you've got T-shirts and you've got all kinds of other stuff. And then the second-hand vinyl stores are becoming more and more expensive. There's one that I go to in my local town only once in a while. I've never bought from them because the customer service is atrocious. They don't greet me when I walk into the store, they ignore me while I'm in the store, and their prices are crazy. £20 for a second hand LP? No, I don't think so. I'm afraid I'd rather go online, and I hate doing that, but I'm afraid I would rather go online. Uh, Are you guys experiencing any of this? It sounds like I'm moaning and groaning. Oh my word, I am. I've done nothing really but moan and groan. Is that what happens when you're 72? It must be. Is the music business failing me? Well, I'm getting by. Um, I've got enough to listen to. Uh, is it stimulating me to buy new music? No. Uh, is it giving me opportunities to experience new musical experiences? Not really. Um, Ticket prices are too expensive. New product prices are too expensive. It's the whole affordability package that really hurts. Um, I think the record companies have a lot of explaining to do. They have messed everything up. Uh, yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. I like to think in my tiny, tiny little way that I'm offering a little bit of a musical experience to um, the small number of people who watch my channel. And I'm sure that most of the people on YouTube who have their own music channels are trying to do the same thing. I really do appreciate that. But I would really love you to all those of you who want to just put a couple of comments in the comments section and tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? What is the music business failing you? Are you happy with the way things are? What would you like to see change? I'd like to see more record pressing plants be built. I'd like to see um, margins of music reduced. I'd like to see an effort to increase volumes in physical products being sold. I'd certainly like to see new bands being given opportunities to play in front of people at realistic prices. I would be happy to go to a local hall here and watch a new band and give them a shot. But it ain't happening. I don't see it happen. Um, it's really sad. Tell me what you think. How long have I spoken for? Good grief, 32 minutes. I'm really sorry. I got on a roll. Um, yeah. Tell me what you think. Give me your thoughts, how you feel. And lastly, I'd just like to say to all those people who are trying to make a difference and who are making a difference in my musical life, thank you very, very much. It really is the most important part of my life. I love it to bits. Without music, I don't know what I would do. I'm sure you all feel the same way. Until the next time, cheers, everybody.